Oh yeah, today was D-Day for the BMW Pieta House run and ride. We actually had to do the duathlon. We've been talking about it. We've been talking a big game for the last 5 or 6 weeks when the training got down to it. Some of us were actually able to see it through. Some of us have already begun the excuses in the aftermath of it. Nathan Murphy hasn't even shown up tonight. He didn't even show up to explain what happened to him today. But anyway, we'll get the full story. We'll do our rigorous analysis of exactly what happened. Before I get to all that, though, I do want to remind you should tune in to tomorrow's Off the Ball, because we're going to give you the chance to win a top-of-the-range BMW cruise bike worth over $1,000. In the meantime, Enda is with me in studio. He came to work today. He feels grand, looks good, feeling healthy.
Yeah.
How'd you do?
To be decided.
No, just claim it. Just claim it. No, this is like the hanging chads in the election. You're the president, go for it. Where did you finish?
I technically finished third, but there should be a committee meeting over the next couple of hours to actually decide where I finished, because if you look at the Strava info that we have at the minute, and this is only the data that we have at the minute, Ger, so something could come forward that I don't know about, but the lads who did the run in Phoenix Park ran 0.4 kilometres extra for each run.
So you got to subtract that time.
So you got to look at the times for the per kilometre in both the races, and if you look at that data, I may have slipped in ahead of Tommy Rooney.
Right, so you finished second, and that's the long and the short of it for the headline.
You're saying that, Ger. So
you finished second. You just claim it. Who finished first? Shane Hannon. Show us your medals.
The trophy's right here, lads. The trophy's right here. Don't you worry.
It's huge.
It's sitting pretty. So
that trophy's far away. That's huge.
I had it ordered, obviously, in advance. You might have seen on social media the day before the race. Not that I was counting my chickens or anything, but quietly confident. And lo and behold, I get use out of this trophy. A few martinis this afternoon.
Show us the glass. Some people won't be able to see it.
Yeah. So we've got our martini glass here.
Shaken, not stirred.
Might have a few cold beers later on, the usual.
Hey.
But, you know yourself. It was good. It was a great crack, and it's not about the winning, but I'm absolutely delighted I beat all of you.
It is. That's totally about the winning. Don't worry about it. You won your category, Shane. That was all that mattered. I mean, we all obviously had our own categories that we were falling into here. Tommy, you finished last in your category. It turns out all that extra weight that you're carrying on your head with the hair that you haven't had cut over the last few months is clearly slowing you down. It was a big handicap in the win today.
Thanks for welcome, Jerry. Yeah, no, I haven't got my hair cut yet. Congrats to Shane Hannon. He ran a fair race. Great to see that Banty gave him the call as well today, and he's got called up, although I don't think that drinks pan has kicked in yet. In terms of you boys in the Phoenix Park, fair play. It seems like you had it all against you today. Your Stravas wouldn't even work. You couldn't even stop your Strava at 5 kilometres. What is Enda on about? You stop it at 5 kilometres and that's your run done. I just don't possibly understand how you could have ran any extra. And for what it's worth, I managed to stop my Strava on the cycle accidentally, but I'm not mentioning that. And I had to do a bit of production halfway through my cycle as well. So I'm not saying that slowed me down, but listen, we all have our excuses. I think it was great. The run and ride for Pieta was a success. We all got over the finish line. Even Adrian with his gammy hammies.
I never comment on referees, and I'm not going to change the habit of a lifetime for that clown. That's exactly what you've just done there, Tommy. It's one of my favourite pieces of commentary ever. Adrian, you are the whiner who's like, oh, my poor hamstring. It was grand when we were running together the first time. What happened?
I'm like, it wasn't grand. You're the only one who actually knows that this is a genuine thing. About a half kilometre in, it just twinged. Wasn't exactly a Paul O'Connell job, now let's face it, right? But it was, I had to change my sort of Etan style stride to try and shorten up a bit to accommodate it. But listen, it was grand. I was wondering with that trophy that Shane had, was it had it been hovering over sort of Galway, that plastic piece of crap that he has, was it in a chopper, sort of figuring out whether it was going to go to Phoenix Park or Monaghan or Clare or what,
No,
how did it suddenly end up in your gaff?
It knew where it was going, to be fair. It spent the night here before the race. There was only ever one destination, and look, let's face it, if my machinery had played ball, then the margin of win would have been embarrassing, I think is the word I'm looking for.
Why? What happened? So your bike didn't work or something?
So the transition from 5k run to 20k cycle, my chain broke off my bike and would not be replaced. So it took me 2 minutes to fix it. Eventually got it going again. I was at the point of giving up.
Oh, you crushed us! I can't believe it.
Hold on a second. How did it take you 2 minutes? That took me 2 minutes. Quick changeover. I really think that this is. I wouldn't be convinced. Have we footage of this? Did your mum, who was assisting you in the run today.
My
Did
mom
she
was
record
actually,
any footage?
She was standing on the sidelines. I learned some new curse words off my mum actually during that 2 minutes. But yeah, it was no, it was a little bit of a setback. But then I knew that I'd be a couple of minutes ahead of the field after the run, quite strong on the runs, and so I felt it might actually make it a more interesting race for the neutral viewer at home. So I feel like people got more excitement because of my little setback.
Is the Hannon mammy a tiger mum?
Oh, like she was. If I came home in second place today, I wasn't getting my dinner. So it was win or nothing. But I'm hearing a lot of excuses. I don't know about you, Tommy, but I'm just waiting for these Phoenix Park.
Myself and Shane were WhatsApping. We were like, let's wait for the excuses to roll in from the Phoenix Park.
No excuses
let's
for
just
me.
Wait and see.
No. I crushed Adrian. I crushed Nathan. I caught Enda on the cycle.
Ger, could I ask you a question?
Can I just wanted, so just this bit, right, because you're giving out about Enda's inability to work his Strava properly. I caught him on the cycle, and he turns around to me and goes, straight away, no kind of, how are you? It's like, oh, what lap are you on? I'm nearly finished. It's like, you know,
I didn't say that.
Essentially bragging about the fact that he was already a lap ahead of me. And then I finished, and I got off the bike, and I started to run, and Enda comes up behind me in the run, and I'm like, oh, that's like a little interesting bit there. Actually, Enda either can't count the amount of laps he did or got completely lost.
See, that was an interesting part of the race, because that's where I was thrown off my game a little bit, because
an old man
I was ahead
past you.
I was ahead of Ger. I was ahead of the whole crew for the whole thing. Ger passed me out once, and then magically, as we got onto the final 2.5 kilometre run, Tom and Ger were both ahead of me. It made no sense. Somebody screwed up somewhere, and I don't think it was me.
I'm looking at your cycle on Strava now. You did 19.9 kilometres. Like, there was no... old man Gilroy managed to catch...
To be fair...
let's just... Enda is a footballer.
Yeah.
He looks at himself in the mirror and he sees Michelangelo's David staring back at him. That's how fit and healthy he is. This is a sculpted, lean individual. And this old man calcified 40 years of drinking behind me.
Well, I'm not going to throw stones at you, Ger, but your most famous interview on Off the Ball probably was with Lance Armstrong, and there might be a little bit of that interview missing, and maybe getting a few tips from him on your cycling, because you finished about 7 or 8 minutes behind me on the run, and somehow you were finished ahead of me on the cycle. So there's something going awry there.
And fast at cycling is what you're saying. In
It helps that you have a state-of-the-art bike as well.
Enda.
Yes.
Are you a complete rookie? What's going on here? Like you're talking to Superman, Ger Gilroy. Like the bike, whatever about Shane Hannon. Like, I'm looking at Shane Hannon's 5K time here. When I heard that Hannon, now I was a little bit disappointed. I think the wind was against me a little bit. I thought I would have broken maybe 21. I was about a minute off what I wanted. When I saw Shane, he broke it in 18. He ran 5K in 18. Ross Barkley got absolutely destroyed at the start of lockdown for insinuating that a professional footballer had ran a 5K in 16 minutes. Shane Hannon's running it in 18 minutes. And let me just move on from that. Ger Gilroy, your 19.62 cycle is in 42 minutes and 5 seconds.
19.62?
Yeah, I know. The boys are talking about distances here as well. We can see it all on Strava.
Yeah,
but you're 7 minutes ahead of Enda. Have you got do you know this BMW Cruiser? What sort of a bike do you have?
It's like a Cannondale that I bought on the Bike to Work scheme.
Oh, interesting.
Cost only 10 grand.
Yeah. It seems like it could be something like that.
You can all whine and complain about this stuff, but you just got to put in the hard yards. There's no substitute for it. So, Adrian, what happened to your hammer?
Do you remember you and I kept pace for the run?
Yeah, it was grand.
We went out together, but like a half kilometre in down that first straight, it just twinged, and like that was it. And we were catching up with Nathan on that, and he was supposed to be the dog, wasn't he, of the over 40s? I mean, I think he qualifies for that group. Let's face it, he's not here to defend himself, so we'll throw him in there anyway. And he was supposed to be like a hare. He was supposed to be gone. Like, I thought he was going to be catching up with the young fellas. I don't know where he was. I mean, I think that you've been very generous with your intro, Ger, a little bit earlier. I think he's just so embarrassed about his awful performance, where like somebody in myself who's I think like 4 or 5 years older than him, like was right just behind him coming over the finish line. I'm sure it's embarrassing for him.
Humiliation, I believe, is the phrase that you're looking for. He's gone back west to be amongst his people because they're the only ones who will give him succour on a day like today. How close to him were you in the end, actually, just as a matter of interest? What was the difference?
I think it was quite tight, Ger. I think it was very close, tremendously close. Great race, tremendous competition. I think it was very close, really close.
Make
the
the
closest
race-
race that's ever been, I think.
Make the race great again.
That kind of thing, yeah.
Tommy, you have a match tomorrow. Was that your excuse? Was that why you got?
I don't know. Like, it's not an excuse. I don't have a match tomorrow. No, but like, I've had kind of training going on in the background. So I'll be honest. Over the last 6 weeks, when we had our duathlon training to do, there was weeks where I just didn't. Me and Shane were talking about the 7K there. I didn't go near some of it some weeks because I don't know. I tried to be a bit tactical about it, and I hoped I was fresh coming into it today. But I think I undercooked myself a little bit.
And how much did Shane beat you by in the end?
Oh, he bet me by 40 seconds, I think.
Is that all? That's not bad. That's not bad.
No, and like Hannon's hiked Kilimanjaro here, and he talks a big game. Like, the confidence oozing out of this man.
And he was right.
I hadn't seen it before.
Sure, I was recording videos on the cycle, lads. Let's not forget. This was. If you want me to take it seriously next time, we can do that. But and let's not forget, 5 minutes before we started, myself and Tommy, we were both on air there. 5 to 8, I think we finished, or 4 minutes to 8. I was still in my robe, still in my sunglasses, still in my Forrest Gump hat. I was pretty chilled to the bone.
Shane,
I just got out of bed.
Shane, is it true that you actually have proper athletic potential, that actually the Triathlon Ireland people were kind of looking at him going, oh no, maybe this guy might be something we can get our teeth into? Is it, like, legitimately, are your times that good that you could compete?
I don't know if they're that good. 18 odd minutes is good, but I think the world record for 5K is something like 12 and a half. So,
I love that he was looking it up.
I'm far from elite. I was just looking up the 5K world record just in case, but maybe they could get me down to a low 17, a high 16 with a bit of training over a few months. But I think I'll stick to the day job for now.
I love that Shane went immediately from competing at a national level to breaking the world record. It's just the confidence of this guy.
You got to aim high, and that's the thing.
It was a great 6 weeks though, lads, in fairness. I found it very enjoyable. I'd never done something like this before. I know a lot of you guys had done it last year with the down in Dungarvan. Did you do the triathlon down there? And
Dunmore-East.
Yeah, I found it to be really enjoyable. I'd love to take one of these on again. I found it to be it's achievable. Like, we all finished today. It doesn't really matter what your times are. We all got through it, and it was a great way to start the morning. I'm looking forward to doing this again.
Yeah, I want to do it in the evening next time, so I don't have to come into work and have my bones creak and if people, what's the noise? Is it thunder and lightning outside? No, it's my bones slowly breaking inside. Enda is definitely stretching out here because he's got an actual 90-minute soccer match ahead of him tomorrow. So I wish you, whoever's marking you, all the best. Just make sure if you're playing against Enda tomorrow, go keep tight to him, and over the final 15-20 minutes you should be able to score a hat-trick off him.
It's going to be a Pirlo-esque performance when he first moved over to the MLS, when he was just strolling around, walking around. A Luke Shaw-esque performance, I would say, the way he walks around the pitch these days.
To echo Tommy's point, though, it's been really good, and we had a load of help along the way. We were doing pieces on OTB the whole way across. I don't know, Tommy, if there's anybody in particular you want to give a shout out to and thanks for.
Oh, well, I think all the folks in Triathlon Ireland, we had Joanna Doran reporting from down there today, and I think she brought across the atmosphere and everything that was happening. Kevin Keen's been working with us throughout, and Gary Crossan. I know we didn't get to see Gary Crossan today on air, but I know he was working in the background with you guys. But just for ourselves, we checked in with a couple of people on OTBAM across the last 6 weeks. Emmett Dunleavy's been working with us on nearly a one-to-one basis. And he's been a massive help as well. So he's been in a WhatsApp group with us, and he's been kind of giving us encouragement and tips. And I've learned a lot. I'm not going to bore anyone with the technicalities here, but we've all kind of learned bits and pieces in terms of, your stride length and how fast you should be pacing yourself. And I don't know, as well as it being an enjoyable experience, you learned a bit as well. And
it's addictive.
It is addictive, and it looks, when you look at the 6 week training plan, you're like, geez, that looks like a lot. Like, even myself, who would train, I before lockdown, we were swimming flat out 2 or 3 days a week. I was training 4 nights a week, so I felt like I was in really good shape, and I kept that up during lockdown. We had club Zoom training sessions and was doing my own bits and pieces. But when I looked at the duathlon and what was ahead of us over the next 6 weeks, I was like, this is a bit of a challenge. Even if it's only the challenger level, it still looked like a challenge. But if you set your goal and you go about it the way we did, it's very achievable. Anyone can do it.
100%. Even old fatties like me and Nathan and Adrian can just about make it round. Well done, everybody. Congratulations, and thanks to everybody involved from BMW, and Pieta House. The run and ride for Pieta House is still out there. There's loads of time for people who are interested to get involved. Shane with the trophy. And a reminder, make sure you're listening to tomorrow's show with John Duggan. We're going to be giving away €1,000 worth of a BMW cruise bike is up for grabs. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this.